And we're live. Hello, everybody. All right, you ready?
I'm ready to go.
All right. Red button. Hold on. Let me make sure I'm turned on. That's up. That's up. Lower my levels a little bit on my secondary. Let me just double check on my sounds. Yep, that's good. All right. Let's do this then. Got a special show tonight, guys. We're going to bypass the entire... What do you mean no sound, Cody?
Uh-oh.
Let me double check here. No, because Facebook is giving stuff. So, okay. All right, here we go. Let's go. You got your red button?
Red button's ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Oh, wait, hold it. Hold it. Stop.
I didn't click it.
Good. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Click.
Click.
Greetings, salutations, and welcome to the Planestalkers Podcast, a show by casuals for casuals. I'm your host, Will Benson, joined as always by my I think it's going to snow Friday co-host, Aramis Perez. Aramis, how are you tonight, sir?
It's too freaking early for this crap. Look, I know it's 2020. I get it, but knock it off.
Well, dude, I have no control over the weather, but you know what? We've got a packed show, so let's get right into it. All right, so untap, upkeep, and draw. Now, listen, it's going to look a little different tonight. Just to let you guys know, we're going to do upkeep before untapping. We've got a special guest. He's sitting in our waiting room right now. We're going to bring him in shortly to talk about LGSs and the impact COVID has had. So his name's Chris K. He's going to be joining us here in a second. But before we do any of that, we want to remind you guys that this episode and every episode of the Planestalkers podcast is sponsored by Kerwin's Game Store. Kerwin's Game Store is New York State's premier source for collectible card games, tabletop games, miniatures, comic books, retro video games, and toys. With their clean, open gaming areas available to everyone at no charge someday if COVID ever leaves us. Kerwin's does provide a fun and inviting atmosphere for new and experienced gamers alike. And listen, even though they can't host events right now, you know, they are a fantastic retail outlet. We can't say enough. And this episode, we are just gonna spew our love all over local game stores. And boy, that sounded dirty.
I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, no, neither am I. Never touch spewing the love. All right,
No.
But with locations in Catskill and now the second floor at Poughkeepsie Galleria in Poughkeepsie, New York, Kerwin's Game Store is the best place in gaming. We want to remind you guys, we do have a code there. If you go to their website, kgsonline.com, you can get 5% off any online order when you use the promo code Planestalkers2020. That's KGS, Kite Go Samuel, online.com. We also want to recognize our Planeswalker level patrons: Brian, David, Johnny, Jonathan, Bell, Anthony, Steve, Mark, George, Josh, Zach, Walter, Ian, and Randy. Guys, you know we couldn't do the show without you. We thank you so much for coming alongside us. We're coming up with a lot of new ideas for you guys. Stay tuned. But if you want to find out about being a patron and how you can help the show, just go to our website, patreon.com/planestalkers. And finally, part of Untap, tonight I am drinking an Elysian Space Dust IPA. This is very tasty. I've already kind of had 1 or 7. So, not tonight, but at some point this weekend. And also, we want to remind you, FeedSpot, blog.feedspot.com/magic_the_gathering_podcast. We're a top 25 podcast. So we'd love to have you guys check that site out. Again, that link will be in the show notes. But Aramis, you know what? We're going to check in with each other after this. Let's go to our guest. Let's bring him in now. So we're going to bring our guest in. Chris K is coming in. He's basically the owner of a great gaming store in, what town are you in? Is it Fort Edward, Fort Plain, Fort Drum, Fort something?
Fort Plain.
Fort Plain, thank you. I've lived here 5 years, dude. I have no idea the name of towns. I'm just the worst at that.
I've lived my whole entire life, and I can't remember road names. So.
Hey, Cobra Strike. Hey, Cody. We got a couple guys in the chats. Yes, your chats will show up right on the screen. So, Chris, we wanted to bring you in because, I've played at your store a couple of times. I've enjoyed the environment. But really what we're talking about today, which I guess we should, let me do this right here. There it goes. Main phase. So we're dealing with main phase today, guys, and we're talking to Chris. He's the owner of a game store in Fort Plain, New York. Here, it's called Gamers Revolt. We want to kind of talk about the impact that COVID has had on the local game stores, because I mean, you guys know how much Aramis and I just cannot stop saying and singing the praises of local game stores. And Chris put some news out this week about his store and the impact COVID had, and I was like, you know what, I want to bring him in because, not to go all after school special on anybody, but it might be, I'm not going to bury the lead here, but there are ways you can help your LGS. So we're going to talk about that tonight with Chris and COVID and this pandemic and what it means. So Chris, why don't you, tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and your store in Fort Plain.
Well, I'm sad to say that I've made the decision to shut down production for right now. It's not dead in the water, but like right now, I can't do anything, and I don't blame people for not feeling comfortable going into the gaming environment right now, even with precautions set up, mask, the sanitizing and stuff like that. It's no one's fault, but like without people supporting in one way or another, you can't keep the doors open, and it's saddening.
Yeah, it's been a really rough thing. I mean, I've been lucky. I mean, I kind of have 2 or 3 little home bases I've had. I mean, started with Guardian Games here in the Amsterdam area, and they closed about, I think, 2 years ago now. And I consider your store one of my spots, and then obviously, we're sponsored by Kerwin, and I go there quite a bit because of my students and where they are. It's tough. Paper Magic is struggling right now. I mean, let's face it, they're not even doing events anymore. Everything's on Arena. And it's having an impact, and to say nothing of the secret layers and stuff. Let me ask you this. I mean, how do you feel about this? Like, Aramis and I have railed about the secret layers and Wizards kind of dipping their foot in the secondary market and kind of sidestepping you. I mean, how are you feeling about that? What's your opinion on that type of thing?
Okay, so with that, to me, they're making a whole nother revised list. Like these are cards that aren't ever going to get kind of printed again. Mm-hmm. So the only time you could get them is now, on the spot, and that's, I mean, it's nice for them, but for me and other stores, we're not getting anything. No support. It's a real rough world right now, especially with those things. They're quite expensive too. It's like what, $200 or something like that. So that's $200 taking away from stores like mine and Professor Bonds and Kerwin's and stuff of that nature.
You just hit all my 3 stores.
Yeah, and you make a good point too, because I know that people can buy the secret layers directly and get them shipped right to their house and whatever. I do know that game stores, the only way they can generally get their hands on them is if they're able to get into the sale themselves and buy X number of copies. And then you guys kind of look like the bad guys when you mark them up, because you kind of have to, because you have to make some money off of this.
Because you're paying full retail.
Yeah, and then when they have one that actually was for the LGS, is the
mystery booster, or
the Ultimate Edition, they're like, oh, you're this level store, you get 3. And it's just the whole system, the whole way that they're doing it, it didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I felt really bad, and I still feel bad that you guys sort of get cut out of the pie, because I know that game stores, most of their money is made off of single sales, because you don't make a lot of money off the booster packs and the booster boxes. It's singles, people coming into buying the mythics and rares and the chase cards.
So, let me ask you this, Chris. I mean, what was the timeline then? I mean, I follow you guys along. I mean, I was a part of your Facebook chat before it got ridiculously political, and I still miss that, by the way. Not the political, but just the chat. But tell me a little bit about what led to this. I mean, is it the moratorium on evictions being closed? I mean, what brought you to this point?
Man, well, you're hitting home with that question right there.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. To be honest, there's been a lot of combinations going on right now. I have a lot of personal turmoil going on. You know, I gotta start thinking about my son. I can't keep running the store at a deficit for this long. Like I had a plan for about 4 months, and I got out of it a couple times, but I'm at that limit. I can't go on anymore. It really sucks, especially since all the games that shops like mine deal with are all interactive based. You need somebody, and no one wants to really get together. And I don't blame them. It's nobody's fault, but it with the circumstances, it sucks, you know. And if you don't have something to fall back on, like I didn't, I mean, I opened 2 years ago. I'm still establishing myself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're still in the earliest phase when it's like I know the first couple of years are really the most critical for any small business to really be able to survive or not. I mean, making it through the first year, you're normally like, okay, we're off to a decent start. You start your second year, and then the sky literally falls, and nobody was prepared for anything like this. And not to, I don't want to dip my toes too far into politics, but you know, the government helped out a pretty good amount early-ish on, but then lately they've really dug in their heels to the respective camps, and neither side's really been budging, and just overall government has kind of failed us in the way that they've responded to this and trying to help people, especially like you, out to keep your doors open.
Listen, I'm going to say right now, my second stimulus, I would have bought magic cards. Jerks.
I definitely want to talk about, like, this has nothing to do with like left versus right. I applied for everything that they put out there, all the loans, you know, everything of that nature.
Yeah.
Due to the age of my business and still being in the negative, I didn't qualify for anything at all.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Zero.
Wow.
I'm like, I thought that was the whole point of that, was to help me out.
So you're saying, like, you went to them and they're like, you're 2 years in and you've been operating in a deficit for the last 6 months or however long. So you can't get nothing.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
Cow.
But they based it not off of the 6 months, but like from the year to year quarter, if you made money or not. And I was not making money.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either, because I mean, as a newer business, a lot of businesses run in the red for several years. I mean, Tesla only just started turning a profit. I mean, I'm sure they got some help. So why can't you get some? That's terrible, man. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that's it. It angers me a little bit too. I mean, again, it gets said a lot, you know, like small businesses are taking the shaft in this and all that.
Yeah, they're getting trampled.
And again, I'm not going to get political here. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, Cuomo sucks, or, you know, Trump sucks, or my mom. Well, you know, I could say Trump sucks, but you know, but I get it. Wherever people sit, I'm cool. I do have a problem with it. Seems like the small businesses have been taking it on the chin on this. You know, and I mean, you were a small business. I've talked about your store on this cast before. I mean, I still remember the night I got out there for an F&M. I think it was last year at this time, and I remember pissing off your one old guy because I think I rolled in with a Golos. I rolled in with a Golos Oko deck before they banned him. And yeah. the dude was literally like, "You rolled into Friday Night Magic with this, really?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." And I won. I mean, I felt bad about winning, but I mean, I won. But would you? I mean, your store was still finding its footing. And I mean, again, I mean, for me, I would have gone more often if it wasn't so far out. I mean, do you? You know, but you were servicing such a great community there because there wasn't much around you, and it's Fort Plain, and for those of you that don't know, Fort Plain is about as rural as Mayberry on a Tuesday. So it just, you know, he was servicing this really small community. I mean, do you feel like that helped you, hurt you? Like, people were coming to get you back into shape, right? At one point early on, once you started rebounding.
When we did start rebounding, that's when they came out with the free mystery boxes.
Those were great.
And people. Yeah, people lined up for that. But like with the community being so small, it was a negative thing and a positive thing at the same time. The most negative thing about it was there wasn't too many people that were into it.
Right.
word of mouth got out and stuff of that nature, and there was still some confusion about what I was. Like there's to this day, there's people that are like, "Oh, you own the video game store." I'm like, "What video game store?" Like, "Oh, have you never walked in through my doors?" Obviously not. Yeah. But there was people coming from Albany,
yeah,
and Utah and Herkimer, Amsterdam. I had a good reach. I mean, there was.
And you had a great environment, by the way. I'm going to say that right now. You had a culture there that you were building, and I mean that's the key to an LGS. So
I guess the question that I have, and I know this is looking into the future, and obviously we don't know what's going on with this in the near term or the long term. I know you said at the beginning that you've made the decision to close for now. Do you have any plans to reopen if the stars align?
Oh yeah, I'm not giving up on this. This is my passion, my dream. It's not the end. It's just a goodbye for right now.
And I mean, let's face it, it's Fort Plain. I mean, the run on retail space there. I mean, you should be able to get back in there. I'm assuming somewhere.
If not the same location.
Well, I mean, do you feel like you would want to get it? I know you were struggling with some of the parking issues and the size of it, especially now. I mean, with going through this pandemic. I mean, for me personally, I mean, I would have gotten there, this after the pandemic, but I have a wife who's immunocompromised, so it's like I can't play. I can't sit in a room with anybody. I can't risk it. Like, do you think maybe if you do come back, you're gonna look to like get a bigger store? Can you float that? Like, what are your plans on that?
My plans are definitely to reevaluate the location. That is a definite thing on the list. I definitely would like a bigger store. I feel like if we had a larger environment for people, it would have went over a lot better. Mm-hmm. I feel like at times it felt too cramped for some people, and that was a negative thing. So.
Yeah, especially like if you were even able to hold in-person events, I mean, the social distancing and all of that would really limit the amount of people you could have. So anything larger than an F&M would basically be impractical, I imagine, with the size that you had.
Yeah, I got told that I'm only allowed like 18 people with me in the store.
So oh, really?
Yeah, it's like 25% capacity or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, I'm told I could hold a lot more than I thought I could.
I know. I was thinking about your store now. I was like 4, maybe 5. 18 is beautiful.
And the guidance, is constantly changing. And obviously some of this has to do with, new information coming out, new understandings of the virus and all that. But it does feel like, especially someone like you in the business community, it's like every day, every hour, especially at the beginning of this, you're getting new marching orders and you're like, okay, so what am I doing now? So I'm hoping that sometime in the next 6 months, I don't know, we're not going to be through with this in 6 months, but hopefully we're at a point where at least we start to see the numbers trending in the right direction. It's going to be a long time till we're New Zealand and have no cases, but I really, really hope that things, turn around for you in your area so you can get that store back opened, get yourself back established, and, definitely succeed, because it looks to me like you had the formula. It's just with so many other people in the country, the pandemic hit at the worst possible time.
Yeah. And, here if you're online right now, feel free to jump into the chat. Cody asked, he said, is Kerwin's going to make it through? They have a very big space. Can't be cheap to be in that space. Kerwin's is one of those stores. It's funny because they're big enough to where I think they could hold events, but Steve has been like, no, not even going to try it. Nope, hands off. So I think they're doing okay though. I think both their locations, and this is going to be kind of a thing we're going to do is, Aramis and I talked about it. We're at a slow point in Magic. I mean, there'll be some Commander Legends previews and stuff, but there's not a lot going on, leading up to the holidays. And I really kind of want to chase this. So, I mean, I'm having Chris on this week. I hope to have Steve Kerwin on next week. And maybe some other retailers in the area, or anyone else nationwide even, if you want to come on and talk about what this pandemic has done. And, and the reason is it's not just to be like, oh, poor Chris, he lost his store. I'm looking at this as a story to kind of take, to our listeners and to our viewers right now and say, look, all right, your LGS, for every LGS that we can't go play in right now, there's a person and a family sitting behind it who's dumping money into the shredder. Okay, and so if they're open in any capacity, whether it be online only, whether it be, you know, curbside pickup, online only, hey, you know, even just retail, come in, buy something, sell us something, and leave. You have to patronize those. I understand not being able to play. If somebody is running a Friday Night Magic and you don't have a check in your heart about it or whatever, great. Hey, you got to do what's good for you and your family. But make sure you're patronizing these places. Make sure you're contacting them and saying, hey, I want to pre-order a box of X or Y, and spread it out. Make sure that you're spending money there, because this is what happens.
If you have it to spend.
If you have it to spend. I mean,
that goes without saying, but still, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are some of us who are just, you know, crack addicts, and you know, we're just going to give me another vein. But for the most part, you know, try to do that. Chris, what would you want to say to patrons of other LGSs or to other stores out there? I mean, advice. You are living this situation, and I know that I get to talk about it from an emotional distance, and this is the least emotional distant you could possibly be. But, I mean, if you could say something here to the listeners and the viewers out there, I mean, what would you like to say?
There's actually quite a bit here. I'm sorry.
Go to town, man. Right? Hey.
The floor is yours.
Floor is yours. I got a beer. Hold on. Feet up. Go to town.
All right, cool. So when I finally made the announcements about the closing, I was approached by several key people within the community about how much they're going to miss me, how much they cried, how much I impact their life, how much I change stuff for them, you know. And I didn't get permission to use names, so like there's a little kid that came in, left, he got my phone number, called me up and said, "Thank you. I have friends now."
Wow.
And that happened because of me, you know.
Absolutely.
And there's another gentleman that approached me. He's like, you know, we've known each other for 2 years now. It's been a great 2 years. I hope we're still going to be friends, but I want you to know that this has been the best therapy for me with my anxiety and stuff. Like, I can talk to people now. Like, you helped me in ways that other things couldn't. So with that in mind, someone else's store is just that gem too. Like, I feel really bad for this new kid that just started coming down. He loves D&D, and I was doing D&D for him, and now he's gonna have to find a new spot, and it's just terrible. So I would always tell you, support them, ask the person behind the desk, like, how much do you need on average out of a person, and try to meet that. Normally it's not that much.
Right.
Like for me, it's $20. $20, perfectly fine. That's like what, 5 packs of Magic?
Yep.
4 things of paint. Depending if you go into the managers, you know, that's a small box or a large box, and you're good for the whole week type of thing.
Half a D&D book.
Like, yeah. Yes, exactly. So like those things, like even 2 sets of D&D dice, those small purchases will get them through. Sadly, pre-orders are nice, but that still ties up money that they have to pay for with, you know, like, oh, they paid $100. I gotta keep 70 of it for the box though, so I only really have 30 to work with.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's an accounting thing.
Yeah, pre-orders are nice, but like, buy stuff that's there.
Yeah.
You know, even if you want it, ask if you could like do a donation program at your store and be like, hey, find a home for this for somebody, like whoever would cherish it. I just want to support you. You need it, and I need you.
I totally can agree with that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hearing the impact that you have on people in the community, and it goes to show that as dark as things are right now, and it's pretty messy out there with as nasty as things are at the moment between people, that humanity still exists. There are still good people out there. It's great to see that you're one of them. And I said it before, I'll say it again. I really hope that things turn around soon as reasonably possible for you. it's just it's terrible that so many, you know, obviously you're not the only business going through this, but LGSs have always been the lifeblood of Magic, and we don't know if paper Magic is ever going to come back.
Let's be honest, okay? At the end of the day, 90% of the people that patronize the store are 100% nerds, okay?
And they're
just
nice people.
grade A nerds, and we're great people, but that's like we have to, you know, this is the outlet. This is where you go. Thank you, Homer. This is where you go, you know, for that. This is not just a business going down. This is like I said, this is a community. I mean, I moved out to this region 5 years ago. They opened a store right down the street from my fiance's house where I was living at the time, like 3 months after I got here. And it closed 2 years ago. And I was like, ugh, I don't have any friends out here other than that. And, you know, it is devastating to a community. So I can't say it enough. Patronize your store. Chris is right. All right. He knows better than I do. Pre-orders ain't enough. You're going to pre-order anyway. Let's face it. We're all going to pre-order. Like, buy something else. All right. Go to town. You know, if you can, you know, open your wallet. I mean, we all want the pre-order and we're all going to do what we can for the pre-order, but you know, make sure you're patronizing the store in other ways as well.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're gonna buy a box anyway, and you don't mind the extra $15 or whatever it is, get it on launch day. That way it's in stock. You know, the product's already there. You don't have to worry about tying up the money up front where you can't use it until the actual purchase, quote unquote, is made. If you go on launch day, you know, they may have the stock. I mean, obviously, you know, Wizards' recent shipping issues aside, they should have stock there. So you can walk in. We won't talk about that. Yeah, believe me, I was talking with a couple guys from Kerwin's, and they were talking about how Wizards has just screwed the pooch on this, and obviously, a lot of that has to do with the pandemic. But yeah, I know what that look means.
Wow.
It's been a nightmare with that. It really has been, especially when they're like, "Oh, hey, we're sending you X amount of product," and then like 3 weeks later, like, "Just kidding."
I was gonna buy a box from you. Remember, you're like, "I'm not getting boxes." I'm like,
yeah, I think Kerwin's had mentioned something about. I think it was Ultimate Master or Double Masters. They had ordered like, I don't know, some random number of cases or whatever it was. So we'll say 50 boxes. Mm-hmm. And they had 24, 25 pre-orders of those boxes. They got 12 boxes.
Oh, jeepers.
And they didn't know when they were getting more. So it's like, and I understand, like, again, I understand a lot of it has to do with the pandemic. Like, if you go shopping nowadays, it's really hard to find diet soda of the weirdest things. But there's a bunch of different reasons for it, like the artificial sweeteners made in China. There's an aluminum can shortage. It costs 3 times as much to ship it as it did before. There's not enough truck drivers now. There's all this stuff going on.
Coke Zero, my friend. Still can find it. Coke Zero. Tell your friends.
Can't find Cherry Coke Zero.
I can live without that. Cherry Coke Zero makes me poop.
Because what they did was the major suppliers, they took a look at what was being ordered and what was happening with the economy and everything else. And they said, okay, we're going to get the mainline stuff. We're going to order a bunch of that. The stuff on the fringe, we'll catch up to it. And then everything else kept happening. And they're like, oh, crap, what are we going to do?
All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, Chris. I know you got things. So is your website still available? I mean, I know like now it's like picking through, but I mean, are you still selling anything online or have you pretty much shuttered?
I actually haven't checked my website yet.
Okay.
To be honest, like, put in the request to have it shut off at a certain date. I don't know if they jumped the gun on it type of thing.
Okay.
But like, even if they did jump the gun on it, you can still call me up. I'm going to be open until November 30th.
Go ahead and throw your phone number out there, brother.
Oh, we got 518-949-3951. You can also reach me on Facebook. I'm going to have a lot of free time afterwards.
And feel free to reach out to us. If worse comes to worse, we'll help you get in touch with them too. Chris, is there anything else you'd like to say? Or
thank you guys for having me on here. It's been a pleasure. It was great having you come in that Friday night.
When you open the new store, I'll be there grand opening, man.
All right, cool. By the way, he still talks about that to this day.
Does he really? I'm
Yeah.
infamous. That's beautiful.
Chris, have Benson tell you about 52 to 1
No,
someday.
no, I'll never tell you about 52 to 1, man. All right, Chris, thank you very much for hanging with us, buddy. We'll talk to you later. We'll see you soon, man. Best of luck to you.
Good luck, man.
Thank you.
All
Enjoy,
right, buddy.
guys.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right, let me switch our thing back to... Hey, and look, it was beautiful transition.
So that was Chris K, owner of, it was Gamers Revolt.
Gamers
correct?
Revolt in Fort Plain?
Fort Plain, New York.
Fort Edward?
Down for now. Down but not out.
Down but not out. So, we skipped it. Like, I kind of want to find out about your haps, and I kind of want to also kind of break this down. So let's kind of, somebody played the Sphinxy card that gives us, after a main phase, another untap. So let's, So, yeah, that was, wow.
Yeah, that, you know what? I'm glad that we were able to get him on. I'm glad
Me
that
too.
we were able to talk to him, because this is a story that needs to come out. Small businesses are hurting big time because of this, and
Just refresh
they
it.
need our help. They absolutely need our help.
They do. And I can't say it enough, guys. Aramis and I mean, when it comes to the LGSs, we're pretty much like, like I said, we're just spewing love all over the place for these guys.
Yeah.
Like, I can't say it enough. And yes, Kerwin is a sponsor, but the reason Kerwin is a sponsor is we talk, we've, from day one of the show, it was been my thing to say the LGS is first. And I mean, we just found out information this week. Like I said, I'm hoping to get Steve on next week. Maybe we'll reach out to Flights of Fantasy as well, because I mean, they just put it out, which is another gaming store in the Albany area, that they're making changes, that they're moving away from selling books, and that they're moving towards more of a, they're moving more towards the game model. But I
They're
even
reducing
posted,
their footprint.
yeah, well, what I did was I said, does this mean like you're shuttering the brick and mortar, which is, if you're not familiar with retail, means the actual physical store.
Right.
And she's like, more info to come, exciting news. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, so it's possible.
Because I was
they may
reading
go to
between
an
the lines, and it seemed
Yeah.
like she's closing the store.
might go to an online-only model. The Flights of Fantasy was the store that I patronized when I moved to the Albany area. And I'd gone there for a while before I started going to Kerwin's, and they had moved locations. They used to be on Albany Shaker Road in Albany. Then they moved
That's what I heard.
to Sand Creek.
And then Ontario Street or something, I heard.
Yeah, they bounced around a little bit, and they settled to where they are now. And they've been there for a while. It's a good location. It's right across the street from a high school.
It's right next door to a great pizza place.
Right next to a really good
Good
place.
pizza place. Like, can't say it enough. Love
And
the
they- and,
pizza.
Their focus had always been on books, and but they also had a robust gaming side too. So when I saw their Facebook post about what was going on, I was like, and this was literally right after, or either right after or right before you texted me about Gamers Revolt. And I was like, I saw this, and I was like, oh my god, this sucks. I mean, the brick and mortar stores, like I said, that's Magic. That's what it is. I mean, Arena's fine, Magic Online is fine, but there's nothing like sitting down at a table across from someone at a pre-release, going over the cards for the first time. And the fact that we may never get that again, or at least not for the foreseeable future, is very damaging to these stores.
Yeah. I think, listen, let's be honest. We're going to get it again. There's no way that we're not going to come back from this. It's American. I'm sorry. Okay, that's just how we operate. Okay, this is like anything else. We're gonna bounce back. Now, the time isn't now. Like, there are some out there, and again, not to get political, but there are some out there that are just like, the time is now. We should be bouncing back. Rawr, America. No. Let's be smart. Let's be smart. Things are ticking up. I get it. Okay, I get it. And I mean, I love Chris, but I have often asked the question about, like, how can you hold an event? It just because of my personal safety for my wife. And I felt like I was missing out, actually. But at the end of the day, it's what we have to do. Like where we're at right now. Gaming's going to come back. Stores are we're going to need the LGSs, and
the only thing that's hurting them right now, though, is Wizards released, I guess, their quarterly report recently.
Tell me their profits are up.
Magic revenue is up double digits since the pandemic started.
Of course it is.
Double digits. And a lot of that, obviously, is going to be tied to online play and secret lairs, which both bypass the LGS. So that's a strike against the LGS long term, because
Big
we
time.
know what Hasbro's after.
Yeah.
Profits.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not profitable if they're not dipping their toes in the secondary market, apparently.
It pisses me off. I'm not going to lie to you. It pisses me off.
I hope the trend changes. I'm just looking at the data that's coming out, and right now they're saying things have never been better for Magic, and that's because people aren't playing in stores.
Right. But you need stores. This has always been. This is. Oh God! Why do I get the feeling the people that run Hasbro like played football in high school? You know, like it used to beat up on the D&D dorks. I really believe this is what's happening, and yet it's more of the same. They're like, they can play on their computers. They're fancy computers. No,
I mean, that's like, you know, people have adapted. The gaming community has adapted very well to the pandemic. They've basically, they're part of the reason that Zoom has taken off. You know, stream table. I can't even
use your words, Aaron. I'm the one drinking here, man.
Yeah. Spell table's been a revelation for Commander paper play over the computer.
I love it.
You can do D&D over Zoom. It's not the same.
A lot of people are using Discord for that, or Roll20.
Discord works too.
Yeah.
So there's online options available to do gaming that you would have otherwise been doing in person, and you know, I'm glad those things exist. But I don't know about you, but I personally can't wait until the day that we can sit across the table and play some freaking Magic.
I agree. And that's just it. I miss it. I do. And so, like I said, I mean, this is going to be kind of like we're in a kind of a. I remember last year at this time, we were like, I don't know what the hell we're going to talk about. Luckily, Throne of Eldraine was still exploding all over. Oko was just showering love all over the great nation here.
Ooh,
so apparently, I'm doing a lot of visuals. Honey, we might have to talk. But yeah, no, Oko was still like huge. So I love the fact that guy's still talking about it, because you and I talked about it. I was like, yeah, I rolled in with tier 1 meta.
Well, I mean, that fits your MO perfectly, because you introduced me to Commander with freaking Atraxa. You introduced your wife to Commander with freaking Atraxa. So, and you play against the students with freaking Atraxa. So, you know,
once in a while, like tomorrow when I play with the students, I'm gonna play Omnath.
Oh, so much better. So much better.
Wrong.
What am I going to do with you?
Oh, I have a few ideas, but none of them are legal.
You're wrong.
But no, you know, so I'm hoping that next week, because I mean, Kerwin's is surviving, and I kind of want to have that other end of it. And I this isn't a slam on Chris, but you know, why I wanted Chris in is that I wanted to talk about a store that's got to shutter its doors, and I really think that that's an important story to tell. I do want to, on the other side of it, so if you're an LGS owner and you're listening to this podcast, or somebody hipped you to it, you know, turn in next week, because, I mean, Steve seems to be weathering the storm, and maybe he's going to have some advice and things to offer on that.
Yeah,
you know,
I think one of the things that helped him, and he may speak to this, I'm not sure. I think he had a much better support system and infrastructure set up beforehand to handle something like this.
Yeah.
I think he had a much bigger safety net, and I think he was able to pivot much more effectively, obviously.
And I think he own his building?
I believe he does own the building.
Yeah, I get the feeling he has that whole second storefront, but I think it's his. So, I mean, that's easier too. I mean, at the end of the day. Got it. I'm still glad we got to call that event there. It was like their last big paper event we got to call it.
That was their last big paper event before everything went to crap. So, I mean, it was great. So I'm hoping that when paper events come back, there's my optimism coming out.
Yeah.
When paper events come back, they do something and we get to call it. I'm really, 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 really hoping.
I think he was happy with us, man, because we were entertaining.
I had a blast. I don't even care if he liked it or not. I had fun.
No, but and I think you and we're gonna work on trying to find a way to, even if we're using Spell Table, like, or something with these guys, to try to call our next Win-A-Box event, like, we're going to have featured matches, and we'll call it. You and
we got to figure that out.
Because even if it's pre-recorded and you and I are sitting there and, you know, doing it arena style, we can do that. But, dude, we're still in kind of untap upkeep. How the hell are you? How was your weekend, Ben?
Depends on how many gory details you want, because there was some gore.
There was gore? Did you lose a finger again, man? I
No,
can't
but
call you. I'm not. I'm gonna call you Stumpy for the rest of your life.
No, but there was blood.
There was blood.
Yeah.
What did
I
you
cut
do?
my-
What did you do to Pam? What did
Nothing
you
yet.
do to Pam?
Nothing that can be proven in court.
Always hit the gut, man. There's no bruising.
No, I cut my foot.
You cut your
was
foot.
Yeah, it was dumb. It was stupid. Earlier in the week, we had a bottle of root beer explode in the fridge. It got really cold for some reason. It froze and it boom. So I cleaned it up, put it in the garbage. I'm going to take the garbage out to the can on the porch, and I swing the bag around as I'm walking, and I didn't realize this, but a shard of glass had poked through the bottom of the bag and sliced my Achilles.
Oh Jesus, that's like a lot of blood.
Not through. Luckily not through. And
All right.
it's doing better now, but I was like, you mother.
So
It sucks.
it was like.
Not that bad. No,
Okay.
it wasn't deep enough, but it was deep enough where it's like, all right, you can stop bleeding now. Okay, you can stop bleeding. You can
By the
stop
way,
bleeding. Stop.
Wendy's
Stop.
actually watching us. That whole like, oh my gosh, was the punching in the stomach. I think that's about the delay there. So.
Got it. But other than that, my monitor blew up.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So I was, just doing stuff, and it was blinking on and off. And I'm like, why does it keep turning off? So I'm messing around with the cords and checking the settings and everything. And I go to all of a sudden I hear "Grrr," and smoke starts rising from the back of the monitor. I'm like, what the? So I yank out the power cords, run the thing outside because like I'm not having a fire in here. So yeah, I had to get a new monitor. Got a new mic stand. Can't see it on camera, but I got a new mic stand.
Is it? It's one of the boom mics like mine, right?
One of the boom mics? Yeah.
That's sweet. I'm telling you, man, it's worthwhile. Like I've got mine set up now where mine is actually the boom mic comes here, and then I actually have it going sideways.
Yeah.
Because I realize
between all-
that's a lot. I'm able to control it a lot better. So
Yeah. And like, between all of that, I actually was able to play a little bit of Magic.
congratulations. Did
I
you
played
play
a
the
little bit-
Momir event?
I played the Momir event before they shut it down. They shut it down because it was so bugged. So here's the thing. I don't know if did you get to play the actual Momir?
No, I work for a living.
So here's what happened. During the event, there were two things that were going on. There was an exploitable bug where if you went to activate the Momir ability, so people who aren't familiar in Magic Arena, the Momir event is you get a deck of 60 basic lands, and you can click the Momir emblem, pay X, discard a card, and you get a random creature with converted mana cost X. People found out that if you click the Momir emblem and then clicked cancel, the next thing you did would draw the game.
Wow.
So the second people started to lose, they would draw the game. The other thing that was going on was it would create creature tokens that were copies of whatever converted mana cost creature you picked. So if you got a Grizzlebrand or whatever, that's what you got. Now, they're tokens, so they're supposed to be exiled if they went anywhere other than the battlefield. These were going to the graveyard and becoming creature cards, so cards with recursion abilities could then be used. So I had one game where I played the Phoenix that's exclusive to Arena.
Right.
It says when it dies, return it to your hand. So it died, I got it back on my hand.
Wrong, 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 wrong.
So yeah, it was
Wrong,
broken in
wrong,
every
wrong,
sense
wrong.
of the word, except for the actual gameplay, which is basically whoever goes first wins.
Yeah, it's
But-
basically it's luck of the draw. But
So I somehow managed to get my 2 wins in, and then I don't know what I did, but I left the event, and then all of a sudden it was gone. I'm like, what the hell happened?
well, I'm glad you got your event. I mean, yeah, I was down this weekend. I was down Wednesday and Thursday. That's why we didn't have Commander Craft till later in the week. I was this stomach bug just killed me. And so my lovely and beautiful and amazing bride allowed me to take a little bit of it easy this weekend. So I'm feeling a little better, but it's still kind of hanging. But overall, I can't complain. But, for the most part, my weekend was good and the week was good. I'm looking forward to Commander Craft on Wednesday because I can't believe we got 3 games in on Friday. That was amazing.
I did have to beg for those 3 games. I didn't get to play the first 2.
Yeah. So
That sucked.
I'd like to see Omnath do a little bit more though. I may play Omnath again. So
I might bring Athreos this week if you guys are bringing on that.
Ooh, I don't blame
Just
you
to
for
balance the tables a little bit.
Y'all die. Y'all die. Y'all die.
I mean, come on, but the two Omnath decks at the table, it was just like, okay, so which Juggernaut's going to win first? I think there was nothing there to keep you guys in check, really.
Oh, no, there was plenty to keep us in check. Steve won what? Steve won 2, right? Anthony won the third one.
Anthony won the third one.
Literally 3, I was the one who didn't win. Because y'all
I
came after my ass.
I literally did nothing the first 2 games. That's more than what I did those first 2 games, right there. So the last game I was able to play, and I had some fun with it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Wednesday. Other than recording this, it's the highlight of my week as far as like leisurely stuff goes, because it's great to play multiplayer Magic. That's Magic at its core. That is what really defines the game, is being able to sit down with a bunch of friends, have a free for all, piss each other off, but still have a blast doing it.
Okay, the delay is just wonderful. She just said ew because I'm assuming because of my burp. Here, wait. I'm going to time travel. Hello, honey, I love you. Now she'll get that in like 9 seconds. All right. So, well, let's go ahead and go into main 2.
Sure.
Main phase.
Okay, main 2, because obviously we skipped combat.
Yeah.
You know, there were some events this past weekend. We're getting kind of at the 49-minute mark. So, but there was an event. There were a few events this weekend. So we want to kind of go over that. I mean, the state of standard is usually what we do in the first main, but
I love you too.
state of standard is usually what we do in the first game. But so right now, would you say that this weekend kind of changed standard, or are we still looking at Dimir Control, Gruul Adventures?
I think the meta is settling. I think it's more or less the same players. There's a couple of new ones popping in. In the Rivals League, Kenji Igashira did really well with the Selesnya Adventures deck. There's what I like about it, and I think I mentioned this last week, is that there are just a myriad number of decks that you can pick, and they're all competitive. They're all good in one way or another. There's no deck that's running away with it.
Right.
There's a best deck, but there's enough decks out there to keep it so it's not dominating the format, and there's enough different things you could do so that it fits your play style. This is standard the way it should have been for the last year and a half.
Yeah. And it does. It seems like it's a little bit more rock, paper,
balanced.
scissors.
Yeah. Nothing's crazy broken. Nothing is like, oh my God, what the hell are they doing? Why did they make this card? They look like they've banned all the problems so far. I don't see anything out there right now that is looking anywhere close to needing a ban, which means I'll be very happy to collect my booster pack when they don't ban Jace.
Yeah, I don't think they're banning Jace. So
we were waiting until call time for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
so guys, let's start playing Jace and getting it banned. I'm counting on all of you. So,
but yeah, no, standard's good. I like standard right now.
Yeah, I am definitely, I'm digging it as well. I've started playing a little bit again. I'm running around with a little mono red for kicks and giggles, and thinking about dipping my foot in Control, because that does seem like a little bit of the best deck as far as the mana goes.
Like, think about this. There are, and I'm not talking about Dimir rogues, but there are rogue decks out there that you can play that are actually pretty good. I was playing a mono red ramp deck a couple days ago that it uses Ironcrag Feet to ramp into Ugin on turn 5.
Oh, nice. So, I mean, yeah, there's tons of room to kind of play, and I think a lot of people are waiting now for Kaldurite. After the banning, it's kind of like they're like, well, let's wait for Kaldheim. But there are people playing. They're talking about standard again.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that this is the slow period. I mean, we have a few events coming up. I think we have some Rivals League and
there was a
MPL,
Rivals
right?
Event, an MPL event this past weekend, and that's where Kenji Igashira, Numatanami on Twitch, that's where he did well with his Selesnya Adventures deck. He was the only one bringing that deck to the tournament, and I think he went 8-2.
Yeah, and it's funny because there's also news in the Rivals League. Eric Froelich, or however you have to pronounce it, I mean, he's had to step down.
Yes.
Because he married somebody who took a job at Wizards.
Yeah,
and you know what? I
They've
dig
been working
that.
there part-time before.
Yeah.
And I guess now they got offered a full-time position, and the rules say that you can't play competitively for Wizards if a spouse works full-time for them.
Right, and he's getting his full season salary. But I really do. I actually thought Austin was already in, but they've invited Austin Bursavich to replace him, and that's the absolute right choice. I mean, the
That is
guy
the right
won
choice.
worlds.
Somebody who has actual experience playing Magic and not just a streamer from another game.
Right, so. But anyway, so that kind of also happened this weekend. Yeah, Standard's looking pretty stabilized a little bit. Nothing's running away with it. I mean, according to MTG Goldfish, Dimir controls at 23%, and the next one down is 10. I have a feeling that's a little inflated, considering that Standard League Mono Green Food won. Standard Challenge was that Azorius won in SVM Open. Mono Red Aggro won. It's all over the place. What do you want to play? That's the question. What do you want?
What do you like to play? There's a deck for you.
Yes.
And it hasn't been that way in a while.
No, it hasn't. So that's kind of cool. I'm kind of digging that. And then there have been, we kind of danced around it before, but I know we kind of talked about it. But the Friday Night Magic issue, that's hitting some people. Like, some people are like, they're a little like frustrated with that. I think people were like, look, if you're going to do Friday Night Magic, like, again, you have one job.
Yeah, that's and the really surprising thing to me is that they've run Momir events so many times before. Why is it bugged this time?
Right, and that's just it. I think they use Momir to test. I really do. Like, it seems like they put it out right before they're going to have a big influx of release of cards, because Momir has Black Lotuses in it. Momir has like cards that are not available elsewhere.
Well, Momir's only creature, so it wouldn't have Black Lotus, but it does have like Grizzlebrand. And
it's got crazy stuff.
Speaking of, one of the games I played, you know what card is broken in Momir? Blazing Archon. Creatures can't attack you.
Oh.
That's the text on the card. It's a 5/6 flyer that says creatures can't attack you. How hard is it to get rid of that in Momir? Pretty much impossible.
Impossible. And, I kind of want that for Commander.
Unless you are super lucky and roll a Ravenous Chupacabra, they can't attack you the rest of the game. And that's kind of the whole point of Momir, is to attack with creatures. And if you can't do that, I guess I win. Where's my Sizzle?
Huh. How much is that card? Because that would...
I don't think it's that much.
Yeah, because that seems like that would fit in very well with our
Well, it dies to removal.
Yeah, it does die to removal.
It's broken in Momir because there's really no removal to speak of.
True. So, I mean, there was that. One of these weeks I want to talk a little bit too about the negativity. I mean, I've been curating a lot more content for Magic lately, and man, it's getting negative out there. And I'm like, damn, dude, calm down.
That's why I'm glad that Standards has taken the turn that it has, because Magic does. To be fair, Magic needs some positivity right now, because I also think
we just talked about a store closing. Yeah, I mean,
I know. Yeah, and I think again that really ties into everything. The pandemic has everyone on edge.
Yeah,
has everyone a little saltier than they normally would be, because everything kind of sucks right now.
Everything sucks.
Everything is horrible.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not even.
I already did it.
I know you did.
Hey, we have preview cards.
It. We do have preview cards for Commander Legends. We'll go through some of those maybe next week.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, we got some great stuff coming. So, like I said, hopefully next week we get Steve in. If not, we'll try to get another guest, because I do think that this is something that we need to talk about. This is a discourse we need to have.
Yes.
The LGSs and what the pandemic is doing to them, because at the end of the day, they're a small business. They're not just places we go to hang out. These are small businesses that are really in dire straits. And like Chris said, the last thing I want to leave you with tonight before we go to end step is get a hold of your LGS. Get a hold of your favorite store. Find out what you can do, what you can buy. Yep. If you have a little extra, and that's a little tough right now, but if you have a little extra, get something. Do something. Because that's really, you can't say enough about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the professor always says, when it is reasonable, when you can, when it's something that you can do, go and support your local game store. Don't go to Walmart, don't go to Amazon, go to your local game store. Look them up, Look up local game.
And now we have to say it. Don't get a secret lair.
Even though,
Oh, there are
like,
some that are coming out.
Full disclosure, I bought the one for Walking Dead. I'm probably buying the one for Extra Life because that one is part of a charity event. And if you have negative thoughts about something that's for a charity, shut up.
By the way, I need to get the Commander Spellbook green.
That's going to be like $200.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Why? Because of...
for the non-foil version.
Because of Omnath?
No, probably because of Sylvan Library.
That's true.
And, Worldly Tutor.
It can't be $200.
All those cards put together is like $190.
Yeah, Commander Collection Green. Let's see. Because that's... I can't imagine they would try... Like, okay, let's see what TCG Player's doing for that right now. Oh, nobody's selling. 99. All right, I could get away with 100.
$100 for 8 cards.
You're right.
$100 for 8 cards, and
I can do that. You're right.
It's the Freyalise, Llanowar's Fury. It's Omnath, Locus of Mana, Bane of Progress, Seedborn Muse. The really crappy ones are Command Tower and Soul Ring, but it's Worldly Tutor and Sylvan Library. Those are the really big ones.
Yeah, that's true.
Sylvan Library is a ridiculous card. Worldly Tutor is super good.
I just want the Omnath to complete the damn set.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you. I want the Omnath to complete the damn set. I
want this Commander collection. I do, because these are cards to have. But yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, I'm glad that there's 2 versions of it. If it was only premium, I'd be like, I have to pass because I can't.
Yeah. So, yeah, I may have to look into that. But I mean, Commander Legends, I'm looking much more forward to. So
yes.
But with that, let's again, last thing we want to patronize your LGS guys. Reach out to us this week. Let us know what you think about this way we're going. We definitely want to hear from you. But on that note, let's...
End step.
All right, so as we go to end step and as we start picking up our cards, putting them in the boxes, rolling up our playmats, putting them in the sleeves, and taking those pizza boxes over to the trash, because damn it, your mother still doesn't work here, we want to remind you that both Aramis and I stream Arena on the Planestalkers Podcast channel on Twitch. Look up Planestalkers Podcast. You can also follow me on Twitch at Mindcrime73. And hey, we don't just do Magic content.
No, yeah, we do other stuff. You do a lot of Minecraft.
I do. I'm addicted.
My name on Twitch is ArmecWRX, but full disclosure, if I'm streaming, it's going to be on the Planestalkers Podcast channel, so look for me there. Haven't been doing much the last couple of weeks. I'm going to be picking it back up in November. I have some stuff to take care of this week. Hopefully next week I can get back on the train there. So yeah, Planestalkers Podcast on Twitch. That's where you can find us for Magic content, for Minecraft content, for whatever we happen to be playing. Who knows? You might be something weird. But if Twitter is more your speed, you want to follow the show that way, you can find us at PlanestalkerPod on Twitter.
And my personal Twitter is at WR Benson. Now, let's be honest, guys. I don't post a lot of tweets that much because really I'm out there just to follow the comings and goings of my favorite band and yours, the Bangles. So, I mean, just... You want to go... Yeah, they're not a horrible band. I kind of went... I went a little low this week. I didn't go for really bad. Like, I was trying to find, like, Nickelback level band. Avril Lavigne. I really just want to follow Avril Lavigne's musical career.
Why you got to make it so complicated?
I don't know. I'm just a skater boy. So, and of course, you can always follow us on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/Planestalker. Don't forget, that's not Planestalker. Somebody took that. So we took that last S off and we gave it back to you for savings. And like and follow the page there. And don't forget, guys, we have a great community in Discord right now. If you go to discord.planestalkerpodcast.com, you can join our Discord and talk to us. And my wife's about to have a small coronary right now.
Is that because you mentioned the Bangles?
No, it's dissing Avril Lavigne.
Oh, well then.
See, this is good. I'm going to start naming. You know what? Now I'm going to just start naming bands she likes.
I don't like you.
That's not going to end well for you, sir.
It doesn't. It never does.
I'm going to read about it in the news. It's not going to be pretty. And I'm going to say, I told him.
You're going to have to testify, though. This is going out to the interwebs. Like, again, if I turn up missing in a few weeks.
I'll say, listen, I told him bad things would happen if he played Atraxa first thing against his wife for Commander. I tried.
Give it up, dude. She doesn't want to play because she's just salty.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why, sir.
Why don't we continue with our end step?
Fine.
This is so professional.
Finally, if you want to send us an email and tell us just how horrible we are at this,
Or how horrible I am at this.
that too. Or you can, if you want to ask one of us for advice on some aspect of the game, rulings, drafting, something along those lines, you have a suggestion for the show, anything you want, our email address is podcast@planestalkerspodcast.com.
And I want to remind you guys, I do host another podcast on. It deals with the television show DC's Legends of Tomorrow. It's called Legends TV Talk. Find us on Facebook at Legends TV Talk. It's where I do. It's why I'm doing Flashcraft and playing a lot of Minecraft. It's kind of their content now until the TV shows are back. So you could definitely check out the old library there and find out about it. It's really kind of cool. I had a lot of fun. So. Hey, you know what? I don't need to hear that from you. There you go. Homer did it for you. But you can find us on Facebook at Legends TV Talk. So just check that out. But I think that's going to bring us to the close. We want to thank you guys again for hanging out with us tonight. We really want to thank Chris for hanging out with us and telling us about his store. Again, check out his store. He gave his phone number earlier in the show. I'll try to put it in the show notes. But for Aramis Perez, I want to again say thank you guys for hanging out with us. We will be back next week. We'll be back Wednesday night with Commander Craft, so you don't want to miss that, where Omnath is going to roll finally. Thanks again for watching. Thanks again for hanging. And we will see you guys next week. Take care of yourselves. And remember to always keep some of your mana on tap because you never know when you need it. Take care and have a great week. Bye-bye. All right, and we're out.
I think this might actually be episode 79.
I thought this was episode 80.
I think it's 79. I see 76, 77, and 78 in the.
All right, so this is episode 79. Rock and or roll. I'm good with that.
Okay. On its merry way through the interwebs. Man, that was really cool.
That was really cool. I'm glad we did it. Again, guys, his phone number was put earlier in the show, and like I said, I'll try to find it and put it into the show notes. But if you want to talk to him about something, maybe a special order, give him a call. And again, I mean, we have a sponsor. Kerwin's is a great store as well. But it doesn't matter where your LGS is. You got to patronize him right now. You have to.
Yeah,
so
if you guys want to really help what seems to be a very nice and honest guy out, give Gamers Revolt a call. Give them a little bit of a good send-off until they can come back bigger and better than ever.
Yes. So hopefully, like I said, I hope we get Steve next week. I'd really like to talk about that because I think there is something to that. So, and we should have said that in the end step. I mean, listen, send us email if you're like, this is really interesting. I'm really glad you're dealing with this. Or if you're like, Jesus, guys, we're bored. Stop. Can't you just talk about how broken Oko is? So...
Yeah. Oh God.
But yeah, that was really. I'm glad we did it. Like I said, I've got nothing but good to say about that guy. I really enjoyed playing at his store, and I really enjoyed. I mean, I enjoyed just smacking his store around like with Oko. It was my job.
You got to get your win somewhere, right?
I felt good about it. Hey, I got like this super promo pack that week, though, man. It was good.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, I have a feeling he'll be back.
He will be back.
He will be back, and I'll be looking forward to that.
Literally, I think he's like 22, 23. I mean, I wasn't doing half of what he did at that age. So, I mean, he's got plenty of time to come back. I mean, my advice to him, if I was to talk to him, I'd be like, listen, I'd be giving Anastasia at Professor Bonds a call and being like, look, can I come work with you and, keep his foot in, Yeah. Because, and that would allow his... What you do is you say, I'll come work for you and bring my store culture with me. And, so. But, yeah, because he's a good guy, man. I can't say enough good about him. Yeah, by the way, this is post-show banter. So, welcome to post-show banter.
After show back and forth.
After show back and forth. While we wait for everything to export is basically what it is.
Yeah, that's really the only reason that we're still here yapping away. So, if you don't like it, go away.
So that worked, right? Like going right from the countdown into the 3, 2, 1 click.
Yeah, I'm thinking what we could do also is if you're in the countdown, since I can see, if you want to give me a visual countdown, I can click the button at that.
Yeah, we could do that. I
Yeah, we
actually
don't have to
almost
sing for
forgot
2, 1
to
click.
start the recording period. Like I was like, oh shit, I'm at a minute. Let me start the recording. Did you by any chance did you hear the music? Like I changed it.
I really wasn't paying attention because
Okay.
I'm so used to hearing it.
I changed it up. I went out and got some Creative Commons music. So there's like I put a link. I put the I cited the artist, but I found some music that I thought was kind of cool. But it was about 20. I need 3 minutes to get it on all the sites we go to. So I was like, so then I play our music for like 40 seconds, and then Nerd. So,
Okay.
because Nerd is great. I mean, I could end it with,
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, wrong, wrong,
Yeah, that's what the copyright
wrong.
lawyers would be saying.
You're wrong.
No, I don't think. I think that's okay. But yeah, that was a really good show. I feel like we did something. Honestly, since we started this cast, I feel like we finally did something worthwhile.
No, we did our good deed for the year.
Yeah. Now we can go back to telling fart jokes and poop jokes.
You said poop.
I did. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think this audio recording isn't bad. I'm glad you put it up there, but the worst case scenario, I may just try to see how it came out through Facebook. I may just take the whole damn thing and throw it up so that it's up tonight. So, because otherwise, I mean, my gosh, it'll be 2 days of editing. Because I got to edit it so that you and I are synced. Then I got to cut it, put in Chris's interview so that he could be heard, and then stop Chris's interview and put us back in. Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that. I'll see what happened.
Okay.
But overall, I'm pretty happy with tonight's show. So
Yeah, I'm happy that all my new stuff worked good.
yeah, I am too. Well, I mean, what we need to get you now is the ring light at Walmart for like $24 because it also has like a camera holder. So like, which would be really good for you, which is what I'm using. So
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I have it sitting on top of my monitor right now, and it seems to be doing okay. And the
Yeah,
light's,
but
the light's above me.
for Commander Craft though, you need your camera pointing down.
Oh yeah. That's. I mean, I have.
Although
I
the
have my
ring
little
light
jury
didn't
rig
help
that
me with
works.
that. It kind of gave us a lot of glare, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you have to. I know that the matte sleeves don't work as well for the lights for some reason, and you also have to kind of have the light sort of behind you, like directly facing
Yeah.
a wall, so it's diffused because the sleeves will catch any source of light.
Yeah, because it was getting a little tough, but
Yeah, because I have mine sort of behind and above me, shooting straight at the wall.
yeah,
So I mean, it creates the possibility of a long shadow across the front of the playmat, but the way that I angle my seat, it sort of mitigates that, and so it works out. But yeah, I'd like to get something more appropriate to mount my camera because, like I said, I'm mounting like deck boxes and a yardstick to sort of
Yeah.
hang it underneath. I mean, it works for the field, but yeah, looking for ways to improve that.
yeah. And we didn't get to talk about it this time, but we're gonna have to start advertising Commander Craft. So we got to find out when Commander Legends drops, and then because he says that's when he wants to start the podcast. So I kind of want to. We'll talk to them. I'm gonna have them do a pre-show so that we launch.
Yeah, we got to see how yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's internal stuff, but
Yeah.
that I'm excited for that to come up. So, all right, I have downloaded all the data.
You should have mine.
All right, so I think we're good to go. And unless anybody has anything, we're gonna cancel shop here. So, all right. We will see you guys Wednesday night for Commander Craft. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging. And again, thank you, Chris. So we'll stop the stream now, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.